Hi, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, we are going to have a great hour ahead of us. My name is Candace D'Agnolo with Pet Boss Nation, and I'm your show host for Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I see that we already have people joining us. So as you tune in, please like the post so that I can know that you're with us. And then also, let us know where you're from. Let's see. So we have a few. Let's see. I just want to make sure before we get started. These are live. Great. Okay. There is a little bit of a delay. So I just like to make sure you can hear us. Wonderful. Okay. So again, welcome to Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages. I'm your show host, Candace D'Agnolo from Pet Boss Nation. Like I've said, we record these live, so I like to connect and interact with our audience members a little bit, just to make sure that you can hear us. And if you're watching the replay, you can absolutely, please stick around through the whole hour, because I can guarantee that you are going to learn a few tricks. And if anything, you'll definitely be inspired too. So, all right, let me know if you can hear me. And if you are watching this, if you're a repeat watcher, if you're a repeat attendee to a Pets Plus Live, please give us a love, give us a heart, so that we know you're with us, because you are becoming the tribe of Pets Plus Live. You know, in this issue, I don't know if you've gotten your issue of Pets Plus. I've got it right here for everybody. Can you see it good? This issue is great because it has a ton of content in it. And I was very fortunate enough to be part of 5 experts that were featured in the big story, which is the 4 weeks to peak performance. And in this article here, what we did is I dug in. My expertise area is inventory planning and for retailers and other promotions and stuff. And so I give you a 4-week plan to better inventory, but there's all kinds of 1-month plans from 5 different experts. And you know, if you did all 5 plans, it might be a little overwhelming, but I recommend you pick the big story, you look through it, and you pick one of the plans that resonates the most with you. If you've gotten this issue, please let us know. And if you want to get your own copies, go to petsplusmag.com and you can get your free subscription. I'd also love to know where you're from. Please type in the comments to let us know what state your business is in. I'd love to know where our audience is from. And please feel free to tag your own pet business in the comments too. Tag your business. That way we can go back afterwards and look at your Facebook pages and like your Facebook pages. I firmly believe in networking and having an engaging community of pet professionals to help us all grow our businesses, right? And that's exactly why I do these. And this is exactly why I team up with Pets Plus Magazine, because we believe in helping build up pet businesses. Okay, I think we need to get started now. I am just double checking here. Okay. Welcome again to Pets Plus Live. I'm your show host, Candace D'Agnolo, and in each episode, we get to go on a journey together where I take you beyond the pages of the magazine and connect you directly with the experts, the contributors, and other people who write in it, so that you can dig deeper into what's made them successful or an article they've written about. And it gives you an opportunity to chat directly with us. So don't be shy. As we're going through this next hour together, put any of your comments in the comment thread. We will go back and get to those at the end. And also, if you have questions afterwards, if you're watching this afterwards, we'll be happy to join in on those questions too. And if you're with us live, just hold on to the end and we'll definitely get our expert tonight to chat with you. Now, I'm going to bring him on here. Here we go. Got to give him a formal introduction though, guys. This episode tonight is not only going to be about, I would like to say, the self-dog wash king of Minneapolis, but we're going to go far beyond that. We're going to talk about marketing and leadership, and we're even going to talk about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl was just in Minneapolis, and he has gone through the struggles of, or not struggles, but the opportunities that the Super Bowl brings to him. And he also is part of the coolest store feature in the Pets Plus magazine. And if you want to check that out, if you happen to have a copy in front of you, it's on page 48. Now, of course, I'm talking about Keith Miller of Bubbly Paws. Bubbly Paws is a self-service dog wash and grooming salon with 4 locations in Minneapolis. Now, Keith and his wife, Trisha, opened their first location in 2011, and every 2 years have been adding more stores. Now, last year, Bubbly Paws donated over $15,000 to local rescues, and they currently have 12 full-time employees and 16 part-time employees. That's a big staff. Keith and his wife also own Pampered Pooch Playground, a doggy daycare located in Minneapolis as well, and that business is turning 10 this year. Now, before going dog crazy, Keith worked in radio for 10 years, which is why he is so savvy, I think, in his marketing. And I'm going to bring him up now. Let's see. We're going to bring him up to the broadcast. We're notifying our guest. 3, 2, 1. Hey, Keith.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
It's fun. I love being on the internet. My gosh, this is like a dream come true right now.
That's why I love doing these shows. You know, it helps me with my creative juices. It helps me, you know, feel like I'm connecting with people all over the world. Really, that's really why I love it.
Well, I think it's cool because like you're also helping people too. You know, I mean, I guarantee everybody in the pet world is in this together, especially the small businesses, and we all have to help each other out.
Totally, absolutely. So I want to try something here. Let me see if I can share my screen. You've got a great video on your website. It's not going to let me. This platform sometimes doesn't let me share. So I'll keep playing around with that. But you guys later on, and then I can share to the comments. The one thing that Bubbly Paws does, I'm sure there's lots of things he does amazing, but one of the things that I really noticed was how beautiful their website is and how beautiful their branding is. And there's an awesome video that they did on their About Us page. So I'll share that link. And as we continue to talk, I might be able to get my computer to share. But Keith, why don't you give us the background of your origin story. How did you start this business?
So about 10 years ago, we started our doggy daycare, Pampered Pooch. And that was really just out of necessity. My wife, Trisha, used to work in healthcare. She's a dietitian. And she was just so tired of the typical like 9 to 5, I'm going to walk in, you know, punch the clock and leave at 5 o'clock every day. She just got tired of that. She didn't like taking orders. She didn't like working for people. And my whole family, my father's an entrepreneur too. So it all kind of runs in the family. And we were kind of tossing around like, hey, we want to do something. We don't really know what to do. I was in your hometown of Chicago visiting family, and I have a good friend that opened a doggy daycare there and visited him. And I called my wife from the airport. I'm like, what do you think about doggy daycare? Like, this is cool. You know, this is 10 years ago. Not a lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
Called her from O'Hare Airport. And I remember sitting in the terminal of like the Delta terminal. I'm just like, okay, researching doggy daycares. How hard is it to start a doggy daycare? I don't know. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we worked on that for a year. Finally pulled the plug, opened that. Then 5 years in, we decided to open Bubbly Paws, which is the self-service dog wash and grooming salon.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just kind of snowballed from there.
So why did you open Bubbly Paws?
You know, a lot of that, we were at the daycare, and the daycare is still our baby. We love both businesses, but the daycare, it's 110 dogs every day. So we're there all the time. And a lot of our customers started asking, they're like, is there a place I can bathe my dog? You know, we just went to the dog park, you know, Minneapolis in the summer, all the dogs are in the lakes or in the rivers. In the winter, it's all muddy. So, I mean, they're dirty all the time. And we're like, well, maybe you could use our tub at the daycare. That's cool. And we just kind of started looking like, hey, is there a self-service dog wash around here? You know, where can people do that? It's like, I've heard of them, but they were all in San Diego because it's warm all the time. Like it just hadn't come to Minneapolis. So then we started looking around. We went to a bunch of different dog washes and grooming places around the country. Kind of just wrote down, hey, here's what we like. Here's what we don't like. Casually started looking at buildings here. And finally, we met a complex owner that's like, you know what? I get it. I love you guys. We want a pet business here. And then they came to town and we worked on the lease, and it just finally happened. That was scary, but it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm able, I love it. What I want to do, because the first things I want to talk to you about are around marketing and branding. And my question for you, I am able to share my screen now. I don't know how the audio will play through for the video, but because, this is the first time we're doing Facebook Live.
Welcome to 2000. Here we go.
The last, I think it's like 10 episodes we've done of these interviews have all been on a webinar platform, but we thought we'd try this out today. So we'll be testing this out all together. But one of the things that you're branding with Bubbly Paws and your facility is beautiful. Was it like that from the very beginning?
When we were looking at a lot of the different places or the different ideas we had bouncing around, the one thing we noticed that a lot of the self-serve dog washes were functional as opposed to cutesy.
Okay.
And my wife's like, we visited one, and she's like, I would never bathe my dog there. They had taken basically bathtubs, raised them up high, and put plywood behind them. It smelled like wet plywood with wet dog mixed in. It was a great smell. So we decided if we're going to do this, we actually need to hire a real professional architect to make the places look right. You want it to be like a salon for people. But
it is. It's very much like it has that salon feel. Okay, let me try to share this video here, and I hope you all can watch it. And while you're watching this, I'm going to see if I can pull up all the comments on my phone too and see what kind of questions that we have going. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, I think it's sharing. Do you see your picture, your video? I have no idea. Did I lose you?
This is great.
What did you say?
I said, I see you. This is wonderful.
Oh, okay. All right.
You got this.
I'm pretty sure I'm sharing it. So we're going to hit play.
Bubbly Paws is a modern dog wash that caters to the needs of our 2- and 4-legged customers.
Oh, no, it's not. I see what's going on. Let me start over. I get it now. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Now I see what's going on. I'm going to drop us down and make it full so they can see it. I'm hearing now that there's no sound. Well, I'm glad we had everybody with us. I mean, I think, again, this is live. This is the first time we're using this platform. So you got to at least see the beauty of it. I apologize that there wasn't any sound. And now there's a little bit of a delay, but I think we're good. Okay. So much for all the fancy bells and whistles of using this platform. Let's just chat and get into the nitty gritty here.
I love that video. Actually, one of the guys I used to work with in radio produced that. And
okay.
I like it because customers use that. Hey, what does your place look like here? Take a look at it. You can totally see what the building looks like. A lot of people want to know what it's like before they come in. And that's why we did it. So.
Got it. Yeah, and it does. It's very using video in that way is so important because it gives that insider look, insider perspective to your business. And like I said, guys, go to their website, check it out. It's beautiful. What I love about the marketing piece that you do too is that you know, everything's consistent. You have the same colors throughout the website. Your Facebook page also has all the same colors. I can probably bring it. Well, I'm not even gonna mess with the screen share. But your Instagram photos, like everything online digitally for you, and also it looks like in your store, they all match.
It does. I used to work in radio for 10 years before going dog crazy, and the one thing I learned there is everything has to be the same. You know, your on-air content has to match your online content. That needs to match when you go out in public, what people see for the station. You want it all to look the same, which is something that we really tried hard to do. You know, if you can have a great store, but your first impression a lot of times is your website. So if your website just looks like it was homemade, you know, on some computer in 2001, well, that's not going to bring people in. Whereas if you show off the place, show what you do, keep it clean, keep it fresh, then they come in the store and, oh, it looks just like I thought it would look. So I think it all is hand in hand. Right.
And how did you get such great photos? Because all of your Instagram and your website, it's just beautiful.
So we use a photographer. We actually did a photo shoot earlier today, but we don't use it for everything. We use a scheduling app for our Instagram and for our Facebook feed. So we can schedule out. We normally schedule out about a week at a time. It's called Later. It's awesome. You can actually see what your feed's going to look like after you post a picture or before you post a picture. You know, how it's going to look with the picture next to it. You can time the post. It'll automatically post to Instagram or to Facebook and Twitter for you. You still have to manually post it to Instagram. So we have a photographer that comes in about every 6 or 8 weeks. And, you know, we've got she does like a lot of like the product shots, or, you know, hey, we want a picture of one of our groomers doing a nail trim. And she'll do some of that stuff.
So you said every about 4 to 6 weeks?
Just about.
Yeah, that's good, because then you can get the seasonal stuff and get any new team members who maybe joined.
Right. But our biggest concern about doing that is you also lose like the day-to-day stuff. You know, hey, this dog just stopped in. We'd love to post about it. So we use that. That's really like a lot of our like stories, like our Instagram stories, and all of our managers can do that. Sometimes if something really is going on last minute, we'll come in, we'll just take our own pictures, and we can pretty much match her style a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, I feel like you need
that. What other marketing do you do?
You know, honestly, most of our marketing is all online. Facebook is a big one for us. Instagram is also a big one for us. We have a Twitter account. We don't really use it. I just never got into that one. But on top of that, I feel like word of mouth is really our best tool. We've actually started getting in with more of like the Instagram, like the influencers.
Okay.
So we did our grand opening party for our new store, and we invited, you know, the local media, which they don't care about a new store opening. You know, it's, hey, come on in, give your dog a free bath, go for it. But we invited a lot of like the dog Instagrammers, or just random Instagrammers that we knew that liked us. And I feel like we get a lot more traction that way for very little cost. Okay.
So you found local influencers.
We did. I mean, a lot of it's
how do you even find local? How do you even know who to pick? How did you even find them?
My wife loves Instagram, and I think that's it. You know, we had everything from like, you know, local food bloggers, or like food people, to a girl that just posts about her dog all the time. You know, it's not to us. You don't have to have 100,000 followers on Instagram to come in and do a bath. I'd rather have the quality. You know what? You've got 1,000 followers. That's cool. You live right down the street. Perfect. All your followers are somewhat local. That's what we want. I mean, I don't care if you've got, you know, 20,000 followers and you're in California. That's not doing us any good.
Right.
So, I mean, we kind of targeted it. We had two of our managers go through a list of everybody that we wanted to invite. We're like, okay, does this person make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you don't want to go crazy inviting too many people, but yet you don't want to do an event and have 3 people show up. So we just really tried to target it with people that we knew, and a lot of them had been here before too.
Mm-hmm. And in your piece here that Pam wrote up, she interviewed you guys. It does talk about some of those events and like your give back events. Mm-hmm. I'd love to learn more about how you work with these rescues, because one of the frustrations I hear sometimes is that when you reach out to partner with not even just a rescue, but you reach out with some of the businesses and they just don't, well, one, they either don't, with the rescue sometimes they're so busy working their regular jobs and volunteering that they have a hard time connecting with the business. It's like they want the opportunity, but really they're so busy helping dogs. And, or, sometimes when you partner with another business, they just don't bring in the added new customers that you're hoping to expect. So how have you made your events when you partner with people successful?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's, we really try to spread the love between a bunch of different rescues. Of course, I have my personal favorite one, and we try not to always pick that one.
Okay.
We try to really go with 4 or 5 solid ones that are around here. A lot of times we'll look at, there's one that's huge on social media, so we'll do something with them. It's working with rescues is hard, and it's the biggest positive and negative. The hard part is if you give too much, then they're going to expect the same thing next time. Hey, last time they did this huge event, they raised a ton of money. Oh, this time they don't want to do as much, or they just start expecting more money from you. So you really just have to be careful and really set the expectations of what they're going to get out of it. Mm-hmm. We normally start with that. What's nice is we're 5 years in. We've got these connections already kind of made. Now it's the rescues start reaching out to us a little bit more to do things, and you feel bad saying no. You really try to. Each rescue has a different vibe. Like there's one that has a bunch of younger volunteers. We sponsored a flip cup tournament with them.
Oh, really? A flip cup tournament?
Well, they're like, we need cups. I'm like, okay, how about we buy you the cups and now we're a sponsor and I get to come drink. This is great.
Yeah. But I love it because that is the DIYer generation, right? They're going to want to come and do the self-washes themselves. It's part of that experience component.
Well, it shows that we're fun. I mean, we try not to do a lot of the right. Like in Minneapolis here, there's a bunch of dog events all the time, and we actually try not to do a lot of those. I'd rather do stuff where we stand out more. I feel like you get more traction out of it. If you're there with 8 other grooming places, well, people just walk up and down. Hey, where's this place? Oh, can I have your card? Oh, you got free treats? That's cool. Whereas at a flip cup tournament, let me tell you, you stand out like a sore thumb there. So
I love it. I love it. You
5 rounds. I mean, everybody's coming to you.
I bet you had your lavender purple cups, and they were probably branded, or at least you could have put a sticker on them.
The logo was big because I figured if we did a small logo after about 3 rounds, nobody could see it, so we had to make sure it was big. But that's the type of stuff that we like doing. I mean, we did. And we'll do more serious stuff too. Like there was another rescue that right when the hurricane hit in Texas, went down, rescued 20 dogs that were in the rescue system before the hurricane and came back, and all of our staff donated their time and bathed the dogs before they went to their foster homes. Wow. I mean, completely opposite. Nobody's drinking at that event.
Right.
But, one of our employees is like, this was the best day of my life. And
wow.
He wasn't kidding. Like she was bathing dogs, just crying. And I'm like, how is this the best day of your life? You're married. Like, what was your wedding like? But she's like, no, you can't compare the two. But, we try to do stuff that's like that too. I mean, obviously that's going to get a little media attention. The flip cup tournament's not getting any media attention out of it, but, it's also
but you're building fanatics.
It's all
I
about
don't know. No, I know. I think when I say fanatics, I think it's that you're cool. You're building your cool factor, like to your point of why you did that. And eventually, you did stuff like that. And they're like, that they're going to think of you as that cool place. And
we definitely built the cool factor, and I think our employees, I think half of our staff were there that night too. So
That's good. It's like a good company outing.
We had a quick reminder of our alcohol policy and driving.
Oh, right. That's true. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We liked it. So.
We've got a couple questions here about the things we've talked about already, so I'd love to just dig into those. Podicures. I love that Podicures is viewing from their business page. Smart marketing there. We're going to put Podicures up. That's the one cool thing that I do know how to do on this platform is show the question. So Podicures wants to know if you pay the influencers or just compensate them for free services and products.
We do both. I think we had an influencer actually take over our Instagram story feed one day, and I think we paid them. I think it was like $100.
Was it successful?
It's so hard to judge success with that. Okay. I'd love to say somebody just took over our Instagram feed. We're going to have 30 people calling right now to get grooming appointments. That doesn't happen. But I think with her, she was kind of she's new. She's up and coming. It was worth trying. I mean, I would do it with her. Yeah. There's another one around here. She's larger. She has 2 dogs. We end up giving her a free groom.
Got it.
For both her dogs. So, I mean, each one's kind of a little different. I'm a big fan of you have to give something to get something. It's an influencer that has, 1,000 fans. Giving them a free self-service bath, they're happy with that. Whereas if, they've got 20,000 fans, you're going to have to do a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's people that, I've even tried talking to work with Pet Boss Nation stuff, and it's, thousands of dollars to even get their attention. You can't even speak to them anymore. Usually you're going through some sort of handler now at this point.
I will tell you, it's a little weird when you email some of the dog accounts and write back to you as the dog. Yeah. I don't know how to respond to that. Sometimes I'm like,
that's hysterical. Yeah, that's hysterical.
Because that's who I'm talking to. The dog is not thumbing this with its, paws.
Yeah, that's funny. Pets Plus actually is also curious about the photographer aspect and how much could a small business owner expect to pay for video that's that high quality? This depends on who I guess, but it's going to range on who's doing it for you.
I think a lot of it also depends on where you're located too. That video we shot that one, I think 4 years ago or 3 or 4 years ago. And the guy that shot it was just trying to start off on his own and start his own business. So he was also looking for demo material at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think we paid maybe $700 for that one. I know that was lowballed. He came in with 2 guys with audio microphones. I mean, he had a whole setup with that. But he was really trying to go for, I'm trying to get businesses to come work for me. I mean, I would say $1,500 to $2,000 for a 2.5-minute video. That's probably more realistic.
Right.
Photographers to come in, I would say anywhere between $350, $400 probably.
Yeah, and then you're almost for that. You're paying almost for the hour that they're there, and then they can get a lot of photos. We've done that.
Make sure when you do that, you own the rights to the pictures and the video too. That way you can do what you want with it, and not have to get their permission or royalty, stuff like that too.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so it looks like we're a little grainy now. I wonder if we're having some internet connection issues. Okay, so I'd love to, let's move into, since I guess we're talking about marketing, let's just chat about the Super Bowl. What was that like?
That was fun. I mean, Minneapolis, it's the 15th biggest city in the country, but it's also one of the coldest cities in the country. So we just had, 100,000 people come in for the Super Bowl, which, by the way, my Packers didn't make it. But there's next year. But it was cool. We're like, okay, we've got all these celebrities coming in. You've got, A-list celebrities. Justin Timberlake's doing the halftime show. My wife's a huge fan.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon did his show from here. Is there a chance we can get these people in?
Right. How do we get them a Bubbly Paws gift basket?
Right. Here, can I send Justin Timberlake a free bath? Yeah. We tried. So what we did with that is we came up with Tailgated Bubbly Paws. And because the local team wasn't in the game, we said basically all of our customers could pick who they wanted to win our Super Bowl. So you had, the Eagles, you had the Patriots, and we also threw in Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon.
Okay.
Just because we needed something fun to talk about.
Yeah, and who knows? You can tag them then, and maybe they'll comment.
That was the we did it. But if you pick our winning team, we'd send you a $5 off gift certificate to the dog wash. And then we matched that $5 as a donation to a rescue too. So, I mean, there was a charity giving aspect to it.
Right.
Who is it? The Patriots did win our poll, but, you know, we reached out to a bunch of people who were tagging, you know, even like some of like the lower list, like Shaquille O'Neal was here. We were trying to get him to come in. Just, hey, do you want to come in and play with cute puppies? That sometimes works. You know, we failed at it, but we gave it a try, and you know, the effort was there. You had to do something.
Yeah, I think that that's the point of what the story that you're sharing, though, is that you had a really fun idea, and I'm sure your customers had fun with it. And even if they didn't participate, I'm sure I thought it was interesting. You guys, I'm sure your team got excited talking about what if, you know, the celebrities are going to come in. Honestly, if they would have, you know, you would have had some like marketing gold there. But it also shows you that probably took a lot of time to, like, not a ton of time in advance, but you had to think about it. You had to think on your feet and evolve, and it didn't work. But would you have not done it? I bet you still would have done it, right?
Yeah, I would have done it again. I mean, it didn't cost us anything to do it. We made posters, you know, and we made a registration form. Like, it was super easy to do, but it gives our staff something different to talk about when people are checking out, or just it's a conversation piece.
Conversation piece that's not a sales pitch.
Hey, if Justin Timberlake showed up here, I think everybody would be here. You know, we'd love it. He did show up at the Target down the street, so I mean, he was close.
Yeah, very close. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritties of self-wash, because as my dog Guinness is barking in the other room, he wants to come in for the self-wash talk. I'll go grab him in a second. Okay, so let's talk about self-wash. Now you started with one. Every 2 years, you open another location. And I have to say, just in comparison to Chicago's market, we did have a self-wash back in 2006 and had been around for a little while. She was struggling. She ended up closing her doors. And then we had another company come in, and they did self-washes for a little while. Oh, hi, Guinness. They did self-washes for a little while. And then I don't think that they have as many locations open. And it's interesting is that I don't understand necessarily why it's not working. And it could be that maybe our rents are too high here to turn the volume over and make it worth it. But what do you think your success has been in having that model with 4 locations in one city?
I think a lot of the success is really associated to the fact that we also own a doggy daycare. And the daycare, when we opened our first self-service dog wash, it was 110 dogs a day, and our self-service dog wash was about 4 minutes away. So I think that really helped us, you know, connect with customers. Hey, this is what else we're doing. You're already built into a customer base. But I think when we expand, we try to be very safe. I mean, in my mind, I'd love to have 200 stores, you know, all across the country. But then you realize that's a huge risk. You know, opening a store every couple of years, it's a lot safer. You know, we like being debt free. We don't like having huge loans sitting out there. We'd rather be safe. You know, hey, 4 places is great. You know, so it's just be safe with it. And then just really, all of our stores are very targeted. Like, we know the area, we know the city that it's in. We know, hey, this is a great dog population area. You know, it's younger people. They're going to spend money on the dogs. Or we did our first store in one of the suburbs here, and wow, that really surprised us.
Was it not as successful?
You know, it's successful, but when we first opened it, we just assumed it was going to be like our first 2 stores that are in very, you know, urban areas. You know, they're both close to like downtowns of cities. Suburb people are totally different. You know, they're
successful.
You know, I think there it was more, we're competing with PetSmart and Petco. And grooming, and in the city we don't compete with that. So it's, people will call up and get our prices and like, oh, you're charging, you know, $80 for this doodle to get groomed, whereas they can go to PetSmart and do it for $65. But then you realize, okay, there's like 12 add-ons to get to the same price,
right?
You know, so it was just, we had to readjust the way that we explained our pricing, and now it's been okay.
Yeah, that's really smart. Yeah, it's all about that sales conversation, and I love that you were able to figure that out. And instead of kind of throwing your arms up and being like, well, everyone's leaving because our prices are too high. They're trying to go to the cheaper place. You understood, okay.
Oh, that happened one day. I'm like, what are we doing here? Why are we even in the stupid suburbs? And then you're like, okay, let me embrace the suburb. Let me figure out why people are freaking out with the prices. Oh, they're used to the cheap prices. Well, you're paying the same price, but it's all how you tell people. And then you show them the difference. And, once you try it once, you're pretty much hooked.
Yeah. You show them the difference. I like that. We have a question here from Teresa. She wants to know, do you have managers at each location that oversee the day-to-day?
Absolutely. If I tried to oversee each one, I would be crazy. The way we're structured, we have our general manager who she's been with us off and on for 7 years. She used to work at our daycare. And then she took a little stint and went and did hair for a while. Now she basically runs all of the dog washes. So she's our general manager. And then we have an assistant general manager that runs 2 stores. And then the other 2 stores each have their own individual managers. So,
okay. And another question that she had is about how you compensate. I know, wage range. I'm sure because they're, if they're watching, you wouldn't want to share that necessarily unless you're comfortable sharing. Because I know that actually came up in I have a private group coaching program called the Pet Boss Club. And we were having that conversation today about how much to pay managers. And it really ranges depending on, how long they've been there and if you're owner operator or not. But what do you do?
Yeah, so I think it also depends on the area you're in too. Whereas like if we were in like California, it's going to be a lot more. So most of our managers, like our general manager, her salary ranges between, I think I should know, but it's between like 23 and 25 an hour, in that range. But we also throw in benefits. We throw in, paid time off. We throw in insurance. And we do that type of stuff too. Then our store managers obviously aren't at that rate. They're below that. But we also put performance goals on them. Hey, if the store is this high in revenue this month, okay, everybody's going to get a little bonus. So we really try to compensate them for their work too.
Okay. We're going to talk more about leadership too. That might be a great segue. But I want to, before we segue to leadership, I have to know what you do with the screaming dogs that come into your self-wash. Screaming as in like, I've been in these places where that dog, that German Shepherd, is in that self-wash and they're howling and screaming like they're like the end is near and they've got to escape, and like all you're doing is like spraying them with water. And that the volume and noise. So how do you, as the business owner, handle that situation?
We hate it. Our first dog, actually the first Bubbly Paws, is next to an acupuncturist. And we soundproof that wall so much because the last thing you want is these needles stuck in you with a screaming dog next to you.
It's supposed to be a zen and calm place. And
exactly. So, if it's a self-wash, there's not a lot that we can do about it. We try to help the customer. We try to help them, hey, can we help you out with anything? Can we just speed you through? And they're normally equally as frustrated with it too.
Yeah.
There are some dogs that we have that will email us, hey, can I come in at 8:00 before you guys open? We'll do that occasionally too. If it's grooming dogs, we put notes on there, book before or after the stores open or just at a slower time. So, we try to be careful with it because nobody wants to hear screaming dogs.
Totally. All right, there is, let's see, I think there was another question here. Ann Yang would like to know what future opportunities that you see for your brand.
It depends if you ask me or my wife. I would love to make Bubbly Paws a bigger name, and move farther in the Midwest, move a little, add more stores. But I think on the other hand, we want to be very safe. I'd love to just open it up to franchising, but we're not huge fans of franchising. I look at it as if you're going to do it, or if we're going to do it, it's going to be us taking the risk. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else taking a risk and succeeding. I'd rather do it all ourselves. So that's just a personal thing. Look at Starbucks. Some Starbucks are great, some are awful, and
Well, and the other thing, you as what I think not only about your brand opportunities with Bubbly Paws, but what you're smart entrepreneurs in that you have diversified. Okay, so you have a doggy daycare, you have a self-wash, and you also have a software now for dog daycares. And that's how long has that been around?
The daycare stuff we've had for about 2 years, and that was just out of necessity because
you needed it for your own daycare.
Right. I mean, we built it for us. We're like, hey, if somebody else wants to buy it, let's go for it. You know?
Yeah, but you have this product. I mean, have you really launched that yet?
You know, honestly, we just hadn't had the time to do it. I mean, sitting there,
but you got it there. You know, you've got it there.
Customer on there, but that's about. You know.
I mean, shoot, I think with Bubbly Paws and the look of the brand, like you could, have your own doggy spa products. You know, there's all kinds of opportunity there.
You know, there is. I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of it comes down to time. Like, if you start doing, like, we made our own custom shampoo, but like, if we want to like bottle that, how much time do you have in a day? You know, like I want to go into a business that we still enjoy, and not have to do that. Well, here's 200 bottles of shampoo. We better sell this before it goes bad, and I'd rather focus on the fun stuff. And
Right. So let's talk about the fun stuff. You sound like you enjoy being a leader?
We do. I think when we first started, it was hard to draw everywhere I'd always work, in the media, you're a big happy family and literally everything about everybody, and trying to bring that into like a retail or a service environment, that's a lot different. You want to be friends with your employees because honestly, our staff are awesome. I love them. But yet you also want to walk that line of you're the manager, you're the owner. You need to carry yourself that way. And that was a huge learning curve. But once we figured it out, it worked better. But we try to have fun with them too. So in your own life, who was your biggest leadership influence? It's a good question, and I'll throw you names of people that I know you've never heard of. I think probably the biggest influence we had was the company I worked for here was Hubbard Radio, and the owner made his money by launching the satellites that are now DirecTV, and he sold them to DirecTV. Right. So he's about 85. Everybody loves him in the building, and each one of his kids runs a different division. Like they have TV, they have radio, they have, online. And I'll never forget day 5 of when I moved here. I moved in the middle of a snowstorm when it was like 5 degrees in Minneapolis. And this lady's walking in through security behind me. She's like, "Hey, Keith, do you like it in Minnesota?" I'm like, "No, it fucking sucks here. I hate this place. Like, why am I even here?" Like, I thought she was just like some random person, and here I am going off on the city. And she ran the radio division. But I gained so much respect for her. Like, we groom her dog to this day still. She parks in the employee parking lot. They all had heated underground parking, whereas like the employees would park outside. And she didn't want to take any of those benefits. She drove like a Dodge Caravan. This family is worth, multi-millions of dollars. And she was just very
she stayed humble.
Very humble. And that's what her name is Jenny Morris. And she actually owns a bunch of stations in Chicago now too. And just so nice, so humble, very giving, but like didn't want to tell people how giving she is. Like if an employee's running on hard times, there might be like an extra like $100 bill like in their locker one day, just anonymously. It came from her, but that's what I always wanted to be like. And then the other influence is the Evereve stores. I actually went to the same high school the girl that owns that went to.
No way. Where was I? Oh, I was in my doggy daycare today in the lobby, and the client brought her boarding goodies in one of that shop's bags. Right.
And they're based out of Minneapolis too. We actually met with her one time when we wanted to open our second store, and she's like, "You guys aren't ready." She's like, "Focus on what you can do first, and then go." So I think her name's Megan Tamty, and just I don't know. She just inspires me too. So I mean, it's
I love that. I actually want to totally veer off of what leadership for a second, but because that leader or that influence in your life said that, like focus on what you do well, or focus on this one thing now. You're not ready. And to your point, even earlier about saying that you want to do what you do well. The conversation that always is happening right now in pet retail is that my business is struggling. I need to have an online store. or my customers are leaving, I need to do local delivery.
Right.
And so they end up thinking that those things are going to save their business, when really, what are you doing in your existing business that you're not either doing, you either haven't systematized or processed yet, or what opportunities exist in your existing business model that if you just leveraged everything together, you would start to see some successes. Because that online store is a whole nother business, and that transportation or delivery, that's a whole nother business.
Really,
and
if you on Amazon, go for it. But yeah.
If you already don't have a successful business of a storefront, it's going to be very hard to now juggle that and make that a success. And both of those things, online store and delivery, take money and invest.
Honestly, we tried the online thing because we're like, you know what, let's just do it. Our point of sale system integrates online. Like, people are going to do it. And I mean, we sold maybe one product every 2 weeks, and it was to somebody down the street that came here anyway. So
everyone's coming to shop in these brick and mortars for the experience.
Right.
And how you, to the point of everything we've talked about. But also, if your staff and your employees, I mean, you've said that you treat them like family and that they're friends of yours. But what ways, because in the article you talk about this a little bit too, or no, sorry, you actually talked last time you were on, because you also are our first repeat guest. The last time that you are on, it has...
we do an employee happiness survey.
Yeah, you said you excel at staff happiness.
Yep, I stole that that whole concept from the Evereve stores, and it's the coolest thing. So every 6 months, what we do is we do basically an anonymous feedback form that our staff fill out. We've got maybe 7 questions. And then the last thing is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you working for us? And I know getting a 10. Nobody ever loves their job that much. Nobody's going to give us a 1, but you hope that you're in like the 8 or 9 range. Like, that's what you shoot for. But with those surveys, we get real honest feedback. Like, one of our employees was really upset that we weren't recycling enough.
I actually had that came up recently too at my business.
Right. And she's like, I almost left because you guys don't recycle enough. Really? Okay, like, why don't you just say something? Does it really take a survey to tell us this? Like, you can email us that. Or just little things like, I don't want to say it's like a complaint session, but it's like, hey, anything that's bothering you, let's do it. You can do it anonymously. You can put your name on it. I don't really care. I mean, I think it helps keep us grounded. As you grow, you obviously aren't in the store every day.
Mm-hmm.
They rank our managers, how they're doing. But bottom line, I want our staff to be happy, because if they're happy, I guarantee you they're going to go above and beyond and take care of our customers.
Absolutely.
And they notice that, whereas if you get somebody that's just going to stand behind the counter and take the change, well, we've all been to places that do that too.
Yeah. And we have to watch ourselves too when we work in the shops, that when we are there too, we can't just stand behind and feel stressed out. And when we're not happy, our customers pick up on that too. So the same rule applies to us.
Well, honestly, if we do something that's bothering you, please tell us. Like, I want to know. You get every type of feedback you can ever imagine. Positive, negative, and then we normally will address it. Like, if it's a one-on-one issue, we'll address it with the person. If it was anonymous, we'll try to adjust things to make it better. We added another recycling bin. Just little things like that. Hey, if that's really what's bothering you, okay.
Yeah. So interesting. All right. So I would love to, so we've got, guys, if you have any questions, we've gone ahead and answered a lot of the questions tonight live. If you have any questions, for those of you watching, please feel free. We've got about 10 more minutes, so you can put them in the chat thread. And I'll just continue talking with Keith here. So what are you seeing? I want to know what innovations and trends that you're noticing.
I've noticed a lot of, and actually a pet retail chain actually reached out to us about doing a self-service dog wash in the stores. And they're like, yeah, we got one of those coin-operated machines. I'm like, oh, you did? I'm like, that looks great.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those at some of the trade shows, yeah.
I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm like, well, you're trying. But, I think if you're trying to do it, I think you need to do it in a different way. For us, what sells it is the cleanness of the store, the fact that, hey, you can be in the tub for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We don't care. We want you to clean your dog.
Yeah.
And, that's the focus of our business. It's not just kind of thrown in the back, hey, here's an extra money maker that we can do. I think a lot of stores will sometimes try to add that. Hey, you know what? I can buy one of these machines super cheap. I can put it in. But you got to make sure that you maintain it, you clean it, that, it's a place customers want to go. I'm not saying don't do it. Just if you do it, just really do it the right way and put some effort into it.
Yeah. You mentioned in your article that, you've really adapted technology at Bubbly Paws. And I love you use iPads.
Oh God, we love iPads. So all of our groomers have iPads in their rooms. Our front desk is run off an iPad. God, they're everywhere. And we buy used ones, so it keeps the cost down. Okay. If you need it, Gazelle.com is a great place to buy old iPads.
What is it?
It's Gazelle, G-A-Z.
Gazelle.
Yeah. There's your plug of the night.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, you buy iPads, and that's where we buy them, because I'm like, you know what? If there's scratches on the back, I don't really care. But what's nice is, so our groomers are responsible for making a ticket, charging the dogs, and the ticket we use Square as our point of sale.
Okay.
Which, by the way, you can also haggle your rates on Square if you have enough volume. So don't just take their 3% rate. You can actually.
Oh, you can negotiate with them, huh?
And we're down to, I want to say we're down to 0.9% right now. So you just have to ask. But again, you have to have volume to back it up. Our groomers are all responsible for making their tickets, so that makes them more efficient. It makes sure that we're charging the dog the right price. All of our grooming notes are online too on our website, so they can look up, mid-groom. Hey, how was this dog groomed last time? How did we do it? What did the owner say? Or they can text an owner the question from the iPad from our store phone number.
Oh wow. That's really, is that designed through your technology though that you made, or is that just?
We use online phone systems. The phone system we use, it's from Ring Central, which is cool because. Oh
yeah, I've played around with Ring Central before.
What's cool is they have iPhone apps and iPad apps, so you can just text from the iPad on the app, and it looks like it's the store texting you. So you're not giving out anybody's private number. Customers love it. You can send pictures. Hey, does this look okay? Is the face round enough for you? So I think most of our customers love the
wiping this one. We didn't use it like that.
Oh yeah, I use it like that. It's great. Plus, like a lot of times people will call and ask for me. We have a, hey, do you guys want to switch your credit card processing? I'll save you 30%. We have a voicemail box that we send all those people to. So.
Oh, brilliant.
On that one.
So then you also said that, so you've got the iPads in the grooming room, and then also your team, your sales associates, or the people I don't know, what do you call them? Are they your?
We call them our front desk staff. I mean, we don't have a true name. I mean,
they're not like Bubbly Paws, Bubblites. No, I don't know.
They're bubbly staff.
So they take iPads to check out customers more efficiently if there's a line or how.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got the one that's on the front desk, but, there have been times where we've checked people out at the sides of the tubs, in the drying rooms. Our goal is get you in and get you out. Customers love that. The iPads are cool. Like on a weekend, there's always a wait at the stores too. So our waiting list, well, when it's your turn, we'll just text you, walk in the area. There's a lot of dog-friendly coffee shops around here. Stuff like that. Why not? You can stand in our lobby, but I mean, go get coffee, go eat something. We'll text you when it's your turn. And, most of the customers love that.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let me see if we've got any questions. And if not, I've got one final thought for you. Oh yeah, we've got Marilyn. She says, if your dog hates water, can you train your dog to like baths? You probably get that question a lot.
Yes. I mean, I know we're talking to like a bunch of pet business people, yes, you can train them to like it or at least put up with it. I mean, just, it's harder when we have a customer trying to do the self-service dog wash and we say, just keep going, your dog will be fine, as opposed to, they're giving in more. But yeah, you can definitely train that. I'm not a trainer, but I'm sure that can be done.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to know, I think you've had some great resources last time we chatted, but what's your favorite? I think you like podcasts, don't you? You're really into podcasts.
I know. You sent me these questions. You're like, what's your favorite book? I'm like, Keith doesn't read. My honestly, it's going to sound super geeky. There's I listen to a bunch of tech radio podcasts. How I Built This is one of my personal favorites. I was actually on the way over to this interview. I was listening. They did a story on Melissa and Doug, the kids' toys. I find that super inspiring. I think that's cool. The other one that I really like, and it's super geeky, it's Handle on the Law, just because it's a lawyer that's in LA that takes, it's like calling lawyer shows. But nothing that really is dog related. I try to stay away from that stuff sometimes. I feel like there's a lot of it out there that I like to get out of the dog world a little bit.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. I'm scrolling through my podcast right now. What is it? For the Love of Money. One of my friends runs that one too, and he always has on different entrepreneurs and kind of cool too. So yeah, they're all very different, but I try to diversify my podcasts.
Yeah, I like that. We got a couple more questions. Joey wants to know, do you provide Dremel training or equipment for pet parents to do dremeling or nail clipping? I guess we could add that.
We don't.
No,
well, our groomers will do it. We used to give away like clippers for customers to do it in our drying room, and honestly, we've had bloodbaths in there. We've been toying around with doing like an online series of here's how to cut your dog's nails or here's how to brush your dog.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want it, you should. You can make a whole little video vignettes about the steps and the self-wash. I bet your staff would love to even do that.
We do train our staff on how to use the Dremels, though, and it's always tie your hair back first, because I can't tell you how many times I've been caught in Dremels. So.
Oh, I'm sure. Right? I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Well, Keith, thank you so much for being with us tonight. You are always a great contributor to Pets Plus magazine. One of the things that if you guys that are watching want to get involved in being in the magazine, let me show it one more time here. If you want to be in the magazine, see if it'll focus on it, you can become part of their brain squad. And I'm sure they can put a link up here. I'm at least going to put a link. I've got their website up. And you can just search Brain Squad on there. And those Brain Squad, they're just questions, and you get to answer, and then your questions and answers may be picked to be part of a magazine. And also, there you go. I've got that there now. And, I've been writing for the magazine for the last year. And if you want to join my community, we've got a Facebook group for Pet Boss Nation. It is full of retailers, doggy daycare owners, manufacturers, and Pets Plus magazine people. So they also kind of comb that group for resources. Keith, we need you in that group. I don't think you're in it yet, but
I should be in there. I'm going to do that right now, because now you've yelled at me publicly.
I did. We need you in there. The link is now in the comments.
And I now just clicked the link, so don't yell at me anymore.
Okay. So, well, thank you so much, Keith. And thank you to everyone else for joining us. I know you've got a lot of things you could be doing tonight. And so taking the time to tune in with us here for Pets Plus Live Beyond the Pages, I really do appreciate it. Our next one is going to be at the end of February, on February 28th at I think 8 p.m. Eastern, same time. We'll be interviewing Paul Lewis from Birds Unlimited. So we get to learn all about what it's like to have a bird business. I hope he has some animals to show us. Our very first Pets Plus Beyond the Pages was with Jungle Bob, and he had the tarantula come up, and it was really funny. I don't know if did you see that one? I think you were on that first one.
I did. I saw that, and it scared me. Like, what is going on right now?
Well, it did. You probably saw it. We all probably jumped, because he, just like how for us, you're on one side, you can see the whole frame. I can see my whole frame, but the screen you really can't. And so I made it full screen on him, and all of a sudden there was this big tarantula on his arm, and we like, I was just like, it was like I thought it was going to jump out and get me.
Next time you just have to bring a snake or something just to scare him out. So.
More interesting, right? Well, all right, Keith. Well, thank you so much again, and everyone, have a wonderful night. Go lead the pack, pet bosses. I will see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.